That's when he goes.
A very good morning once again. We welcome you to Issues at Hand. Of course, it's a bright Monday and schools have opened today officially. Of course, now when we talk about officially, this is the set date for by the Ministry of Education and Sports. So it was 15th September, which is today. And it is evident on the roads, traffic jam is a little more than usual, simply because parents are darting here and there, taking back their children to school. However, last week, UNATU came out and of course they declared an industrial action by arts teachers. Now, there's been an issue, of course, from the time the scientists, that is Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union, broke off UNATU. They had their way out of UNATU, and they successfully negotiated for they negotiated, and they got it. And of course, later, there were a lot of issues by the other members that remained under UNATU. And we saw now a break off of another group of teachers, and this, I think this is specifically secondary school teachers, arts teachers, forming a Uganda Professional Humanities Teachers Union, and other unions, of course, are out there. But now, last term, this particular union, Uganda Professional Humanities Teachers Union, declared an industrial action that lasted for about a month, or about 3 weeks or a month, until when they met the president, and they agreed on a number of things which were waiting for the president to fulfill. However, it was clear the president said the government didn't have money in this financial year to enhance salaries for the arts teachers. Now, that was last term, as last term was beginning. So as this term begins, UNATU comes out and says there is an industrial action. Now, this has brought a lot of, to us who are following this, and to a parent out there, it seems like confusing, because does it mean that every beginning of term there should be a trade union that declares a trade action, an industrial action, and at the end of the day, isn't it the children that suffer out of all these industrial actions that sometimes don't seem to yield the results? Well, with us is Mr. Dulunga Buni Philip, who is the Deputy Secretary General of Uganda National Teachers Union, UNATU. It's a pleasure having you this morning, sir.
You're most welcome. Yeah. Thank you.
We have a lot of questions that you will help us answer, especially when it gets to this instruction. But to start with, maybe I kindly greet our viewers. We shall get into that discussion.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Dulunga Buni Philip. I'm the Deputy General Secretary, Uganda National Teachers Union. Thank you for being part of the show.
Yeah, we are delighted to have you to help us clear some of these things that we have. First of all, we saw UNATU distancing themselves from the strike that happened around June. That was last term by the Uganda Professional Humanities Teachers Union. And this time round, after them also negotiating for they negotiated, and the promises, we see now UNATU coming up. So on which grounds does UNATU come out at such a critical time when students are preparing for their final exams? It is a very critical term, yet very short, and UNATU comes at such a time to declare an industrial action.
Yeah, thank you very much. We acknowledge that we are different teacher unions in the country, and for each of the unions we have independent decision-making bodies.
Okay.
For the union of UNATU, it has been as a result of the decision came up as a result of the continual government silence. We have been engaging the government over a number of years. I think the last time we had industrial action was in 2022, and the government accepted to negotiate with us. And since that time, we are hoping to have the negotiation. But because of the continuous silence on our demand for salary enhancement, that decision was taken as a result of that. We are quite aware that this is a critical time and the term, and we also are aware of this. But what we want from the government is very simple: commitment. Even if they commit themselves today, tomorrow a different thing will happen.
So what if they do not commit themselves? Will you put down the tools up to the end of the term?
This time, we have waited enough. 3 years of waiting, 3 years of silence, and all this period as the negotiation, the so-called negotiation was on, we made a lot of contacts in terms of letters, formal requests in different offices, Office of the President, the public service, local government, education, and so on. All we received was dead silence.
Okay.
And this is as a result of this. Now we said there are those categories of teachers who benefited from the enhancement that took place in 2022-2023 financial year, which was about 300%. So we waited, seeing others benefiting 3 years down the road of silence, and this is now the time. What we want from the government is to commit themselves and pronounce themselves clearly. Even before we came to the industrial action sometime back in 2018, we had a document we call collective bargaining agreement, which they disrespected it. And
out of which the scientists managed to negotiate their shares, because it was out of that document.
Part of it was part of what they gave was part of what we agreed, and of course for them it was an issue of divide and rule, and that's the disparity we are challenging as a union. All teachers are the same. We belong to the same. They have the same qualification, and therefore our focus is equity and fairness.
Okay.
Which must be addressed to all categories of teachers. And for us as a union, we are for all the teachers, both for primary, post-primary schools and education institutions. And therefore, this is now the time. Today is the day. We said we must go on industrial action. So it's very simple. Teachers all over must remain home until the government behaves. And this is something that we are pronouncing ourselves very clear on this. When we suspended the industrial action, that was around 4th July 2022, they gave a clear indication that we are going to negotiate. I told you a lot of attempts were made, letters, formal, even we went up to the extent of going to Equal Opportunities Commission. Up to now, there is no positive feedback, Parliament.
But have you met the tribunal yet in Equal Opportunities Commission?
Yeah, we had some engagement and we met, but there was no positive feedback.
Okay.
Up to now. So the issue is very clear. There is no headway. And
but
therefore, the best we can do is we are saying teachers have waited enough. Patiently. I mean, it's all the challenges.
Now, I think
the government is not interested in resolving this matter anymore, and therefore, under such circumstances, withdrawal labor remains the only option.
Yeah, we look at this. It's very good, but doesn't it now look a bit confusing? Because now there was this collective bargaining document that you presented in 2018, and out of this, the scientists were able to take their share out of this document. And now, of recent, we just saw another trade union for teachers, because now the scientists went into their trade union. And now there is this other professional humanities teachers union having another bargain with the president, and the president makes it very clear that we do not have money in this financial year to enhance salaries. But moving forward, this will be worked on. Then, still within the same financial year, which other commitment do you expect the president to make?
There is no confusion in what you are saying.
Okay.
Because ours has been very clear. And we made it very clear right from the beginning. Our demand, we are demanding for equity and fairness in salary enhancement.
Which the other trade union is also agitating for.
Yeah, whatever they've agreed upon, I'm not sure of the formal commitment. What I know is it's a verbal communication,
Okay.
which we cannot rely on. So for us, as UNATU, we are saying we are weighted enough. So if the government is serious, they should also come up and pronounce, just like the way we made our things formal. We want a formal commitment from the government, regardless of whatever. But we shall not entertain the issue of we are going to do this. Where is the document to that effect? If the government can disregard the collective bargaining agreement, how sure are we to trust them with these formal promises, informal promises? So it is important that the government must get serious and commit themselves and make the pronouncement. And of course, for us as UNATU, we shall also be ready to look at the document, internalize it, and use the different structures to take a decision once we see a formal commitment from the government.
So, meaning, as for UNATU, even if the enhancement will happen in 2029, as long as the government comes up with a formal commitment, for you it is okay?
That is what we are demanding.
So in other words, this industrial action is about commitment.
What we need to know is the underlying word is equity and fairness, 300%.
Okay.
Like the ones they have done for the other sector. We are all the same. We are all teachers. So our demand is enhancement of the other categories that missed in the 2022-2023 financial year. Those are the primary schools, post-primary schools, and education institutions. Those categories who are not part of the sciences. We are also demanding for the 300% because they have already set the precedent. And therefore, we are all teachers. So that's our demand, 300%. If you don't have the money, commit yourself and say, this is what we have. I mean, this is what we are going to do. But it must be 300%.
Not less.
No, that is the set. It is like they have created a precedent because we are all the same. But there's no reason why we said, this is a science, this is arts, and therefore we must be paid separately. No.
But as we put pressure, because we realize that out there, teachers of arts are more than teachers of sciences. And are we mindful of the economy and how it is doing right now as we mount this pressure on government?
Yeah, I think the issue here many rests on the government side, because if we go back to our document, the collective bargaining agreement, we had a document that was in phased manner. It was a 5-year pay target. But I think it was supposed to end in 2023, from 2018 to 2023. Down the road, nothing was implemented. And therefore, it is part of what you're saying. We also are mindful of the economy issue. And if they had followed the plans, by now we will have no problem. But again, now they disregarded it, went to other sector, gave 300, and these other ones are now being made promises. We shall talk. So we are all the same, equity and fairness. And that is something that we must make it very clear.
Now, as we are starting, you said that you're totally different trade unions. So UNATU as UNATU, because we see UNATU as the mother union. All these other unions might have come out of UNATU. And so the big question is, if UNATU, a group of teachers of science subjects, have gone off UNATU, they now have their umbrella union. We also see another one, professional humanities teachers union, has also gone away. Now, who remains as a member of UNATU? Now, who are you agitating for if everyone thinks they can now go and negotiate by themselves?
Now, for
which other category are you left with?
Well, all teachers, UNATU belongs to all teachers. We have even teachers who are science teachers who are members of UNATU. And they will never structured.
Oh.
Yes.
But enjoying the other privilege.
From primary up to the national level, they will never structured. So for us, we are for all teachers. It is those ones who are saying we are scientists, but we are for all.
But there's also been an allegation that UNATU is for primary school teachers. That has been an allegation that is why in your structures, most of the things you are pushing are especially for the teachers of primary school.
Yeah, that has been the allegation, but it's not true. Because if you look at our structure, for example, we have all categories of teachers represented right from school. Even at a national level, we have all of them represented. So that has been a part of the campaign by detractors, but we are for all teachers. Because at a national level, we have national secretary representing secondary education. Even as we talk now, the national secretary for planning and organizing is from a secondary sector. Our former national chairperson was from a secondary sector. The former vice was also from secondary sector. Even right now as we talk, we have all these representatives. Even if by they from BTVET, they're also part of us. That's why we say we are everywhere. UNATU is for all the teachers. So that's why what we are talking about is, we are saying we call for equity and fairness to ensure that no teacher is left behind in this salary enhancement. Now, when we say no teacher, we mean everyone, whether you are from education, or you are from secondary sector, primary, tertiary, even some part of a university, the School of Education. Some of them are also members of the UNATU. So this is a struggle for fairness and equity. Let the 300 precedent, which has been set by government, be implemented for all. And when they say, okay, we are ready to do this, even if they say today, then we can follow the routine process and communicate to the members, then we take a decision.
Okay.
So what we are adding here is, today it has been the D-Day. We urge all the teachers to remain home, and we shall be able to speak louder. Our absence from the classroom should be the voice that the government will hear.
There's something you talked about divide and rule. And you say that especially the Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union, they prefer to take that way. But is it in any way wrong if I realize that maybe I'm in this taxi and the taxi is delaying my journey? Is it wrong for me to get out of this taxi and I get another taxi? Does that really bring out the divide and rule as you present it?
No, even the labor law is very clear. You can join a union of your choice, and joining a union is voluntary. So if you choose to go to science, we don't have any force say you must remain here. But what is very important is what is it that you are going to get in that particular union? Okay. And that is something that binds our membership, because we go beyond the promise they are talking about. Because for us, we have a strategy that really look at how can we improve on the welfare condition of our members. And that's the mandate we're talking about even right now. We're focusing on this. It's not a question of saying, let me belong to this. There are some people who are like that. But of course, right now where we are, the market is now open. Time will come when people will now go to the union that what? Gives them what they want.
Okay.
Not these other issues of say, I belong to science. No. I'm arts. No. This is for all teachers. So we must look at how can we improve on the welfare, because that's the reason. Because even if we have 20 teacher unions, teacher issues are always the same.
Okay.
How different will you, if you cannot make it here, how different will you make it when you are divided? And of course, the strength of a union depends on membership, and therefore, that's why sometimes we command. Because we go beyond this issue of saying, and even from them, if you look at the so-called science union and others, do they have anything tangible apart from blaming UNATU? UNATU, the ABCD, every time it's a blame. Let us focus on what is it that
got the enhancement.
Huh?
They got the enhancement that you're still pleading for.
The enhancement is a government what? It's a government creation of dividing and ruling the what? The teachers. They want us to be, of course they fear. They know UNATU is a threat in terms of bargaining and the negotiation aspect.
Well,
because we have the numbers.
Let's take a short commercial break. When we return, we are going to you're going to tell us whether, had the science teachers not split off UNATU, the enhancement would have been achieved by now, because you say the pre-bargain document was the phased manner was running up to 2023, and this is 2025. Well, we are coming back shortly after the break.
Issues at hand. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. Issues at hand.
Welcome back from that commercial break. Here we are talking about the industrial action by arts teachers, or by teachers, okay, that started today. This industrial action specifically was declared by UNATU, Uganda National Teachers Union, as I think the mother umbrella union. Yeah. For all these others. Of course, there are many now, and we are with the Deputy Secretary General getting into the real understanding. So the big question now lies in the other document that was presented, the collective bargaining document that was presented in 2018. Are you sure that had there not been this confusion of now some people getting tired of sitting in this taxi and boarding another one, at least it would have been achieved now?
Yeah, I think right from the time we started, after signing the document, the government continued silence. It was a red flag, and up to the time we ended, there was no much that has been implemented, because the document was very clear and specified each of these issues. What they did was they just picked some of the things, because part of the 4 million was part of the figures we proposed. And now, because of their policy of dividing the teachers, they took it as an advantage, thinking that they were going to weaken the UNATU. So it is not the withdrawal of the science teachers that stopped the implementation. It is a lack of the government commitment. Right from the time the document was signed, they were not committed. And therefore, they were not ready to listen to the teachers' issues. So that was part of the trick they are using to silence teachers. Because they say, let's divide them and have this category, which I think we opposed to. And even the science teachers, there's a lot that UNATU did for them. Before even the enhancement, there was the 30% increment above the normal scale. They were benefiting. That was part of the negotiation. That was in 2011. So ideally, we were also taking care of their issues. That was a speciality. But we said it is better they get the 30% above the normal salary, but all teachers must get the same pay. And that's why the government have chosen to do the divide and rule policy. So whether they came in at the right time or at the wrong time, the issue remain government lack of commitment.
But also, this is not the first time UNATU is having industrial actions at the beginning of terms. For quite some time, some time ago, even way back when some of us were still in school, because at least I went to a government primary school, just here, St. Peter's, and we still saw these industrial actions, where UNATU would declare these industrial actions, and then the teachers would sit home for about 2 weeks or maybe 3, and then they come back. And they got back to class without any agreement reached at. Are you sure this is not going to be the case, that probably you will reach a point and then give up and go back to class?
When you see people going for industrial action, that means all their available options have failed. And that has been, I think, the only way the government was listening to the teachers' issues. Because I've been a teacher, I'm a professional teacher by practice.
But you've striked before, and the government has not heard. Is it still a channel of communication?
In most cases, I remember, there's no any other single year, all the years I've been in the teaching profession, that the government came up one day say, this year, teachers, we're going to give you 50% salary increment. It is as a result of the negotiation the union was engaging the government in. And that's part of the strategies the union was using to improve on the teachers' welfare. So it's part of the mandate to advocate for improved welfare and working condition. And in most cases, this has been through. Of course, the government will tell you, let's negotiate, go for a round table, but they will not open up. Until now, when you come up and then say, okay, we're going to do ABCD. So I think that's the only way they listen. And therefore, we are very much aware of this critical time. As I told you earlier on, we are aware about this critical time of the school calendar. And therefore, what we want the government to do is to urgently engage us, the UNATU, and provide a clear commitment to resolve this matter for once and for all.
Have you given them a timeline?
We have declared it is them now to come up with the timeline. For us, we shall be there starting today.
So what happens
until the time they will make that commitment? We shall be on.
What happens if what happened to the Uganda Uganda Professional Humanities Teachers Union happens to you, where the president calls you and reassures you of the promise of enhancement verbally? Will you still continue with the instruction?
But
even
course,
with that promise?
But of course, once the president makes pronouncement, there are those technical people who are supposed to put it in a formal way. That is part of their work. For him, he can make a pronouncement, but the responsible ministry, technocrats, must communicate to us.
Well,
and this is something that is very clear.
I look at still this situation. This is a very trying season. The senior fours have about 3 weeks to go to start their final exams. And then I think the P7 will have about a month. And then senior 6. It is just a fixed up term. Why doesn't UNATU wait, at least for first term, when people still have some longer space, and then you carry on your instruction at that time? Was it so urgent? Did it just fall, and then you say, let us go for third term?
We actually waited. If you recall, we last suspended this in 2022. I think it was 4th July 2022. Now we are in September 2025. That is now how many years? 3 years. So we are saying this is the moment of truth.
Okay.
We have waited for 3 years, seeing other colleagues enjoying the 300% salary enhancement, and then these other sectors have been left without anything but empty promises.
Okay.
And therefore we are saying 3 years of waiting, 3 years of frustration, 3 years of watching others move ahead, while for us we are told to wait. Now the question is, how much longer will we wait for this? This is the right time.
There is a message I wanted to read to you that I landed on one platform. I think this one was replying to someone, and then someone forwarded it just to talk about this particular industrial action. So I'll leave out the name, the person they were referring to, but kindly begin calculating your figures basing on the maximum target of CBA before Monday for submission instead of doubt, before today. UNATU is scheming to ruin our 509 billion selfishly, realizing that his darling primary teachers have not been labeled anywhere on during discussions. Baguma slept as usual and now wants to scatter our money. Let me not say much, but soon we shall meet at the budget table.
First of all, it's very unfortunate, and that's the scheme we're talking about. If you recall, when they were meeting the so-called union, when they were meeting with the president and others, which document did they use? They used our document.
Okay.
Did they have their own document? The CBA was made by UNATU. So where are they relying on? They've used our document, and therefore they must be grateful to us.
So meaning the CBA is your document, is UNATU's document?
It is the document for UNATU and for all the teachers. So which document did they use to engage this thing? They were not having no document. They used part of our document. And I remember in one of the meetings, they were told even by the ministry, this document you're using is not yours. So why were you, because there was a time I think they invited our general secretary to be part of their meeting. They were saying we cannot meet with them. But they were reminded that UNATU is for all. If anything, when this document you're using is part of UNATU. So what ground are they now saying? On what ground? What, do they have anything that binds the engagement? No. And therefore, the so-called saying, this is our money, is not true. It's frivolous. And therefore, we must learn to speak the truth.
Is it true that at some point UNATU might have slept on duty and probably it gave chance to some of these mushrooming unions?
First of all, we were respecting the commitment made by the government.
Okay.
For them, they say call off. But for us, we say we are suspending. We suspended the industrial action. We did not call it off.
Okay.
And that's why today we have resumed the industrial action.
So you suspend and then call it again.
We suspended it, and now today we are saying let us resume. And there was no sleeping. We gave room for the government. I told you the number of letters we wrote to the various ministries, public service, office of the president, parliament, equal opportunity commission, even the head of public service. We were in touch. When you say ABCD water, when? But it was a dead silence. Was that sleeping?
How then?
We allowed 3 years. I told you 3 years of waiting.
How then do these people?
Actually, they should really be patient with us and say, really, UNATU has waited enough.
But how are they able to use your document to negotiate and win, yet you, the owners of the document, are failing out?
Auntie, we are not failing. I told you. We gave government room. It's a professional way of doing things. Okay. But it's the government who say, oh, this allowed us to have that table. They went ahead and said, hey, that's why they went and picked the available document. You do this. Who is fooling who?
Well,
so for us, our stand is very clear. 3 years of waiting, we waited enough, and the answer is very clear. We are not happy with this unfairness, and therefore let our actions speak louder than the words. And the action we are talking about is today. Let all the teachers who are affected, those who never qualified for the 300%, we are saying stay home, stay away from school. That's the only way that we shall send a clear message to this government, because the government kept silent for all this period, and we shall not continue to be ignored, because we contribute to nation building, and therefore we are also part of the country. So let us try to speak louder, because our letters and all formal requests have failed, and the government did not listen. So this time, let the empty classroom speak louder than.
Now, the president has, on several occasions, has said that we shall enhance all teachers' salaries because all teachers matter. But for now, we need sciences more. And he gave reasons. For example, when during COVID-19, he said when the floating island was about to endanger our dam, the Owen Falls Dam, he said we did not read Shakespeare. We did not read when Columbus went to America. He said we needed now scientists. So with this message very clear, and with the president each time coming out to say, to reaffirm his promise that we shall enhance this money, why are you not a little patient and wait until that will come?
Yeah, actually,
even after clearly saying of recent that the government doesn't have money to enhance salaries, especially in this financial year, and he said, but that will be in consideration.
It's very unfortunate. Most of the pronouncements are very unconstitutional. If you go to the constitution, it is very clear: equal pay for equal work, and therefore, with such kind of pronouncements, it sounds clearly that the strategy of divide and rule is at a high gear. But it's very important as for us. We don't want to be misinterpreted. Our focus is very clear: equity and fairness for all, regardless of whether you don't have the resources. You have the resources for what categories you can classify. And I don't know if we can. We want to interest the government to make a research and see whether there is usually the president likes so much saying value addition, whether there was value addition in the enhancement of the 300 to the science teachers. Has it caused any progress, any change?
It has attracted many into sciences, and I think that was the target.
And if you go deeper, the sad part of it is most of the so-called science teachers retired, and now they're enjoying the what?
The pension.
The pension.
but they have attracted young ones.
So I don't see any reason. The outcome now is can see they have not achieved their target.
They have attracted many that while these ones retire, imagine had they retired when there are no newcomers. But as they retire, they have attracted more into science.
Why did they retire? And it is early retirement. They have not reached the retirement.
Yeah, but at least they have people to live because in the chamber. Other than having early retirement.
Their focus is the money part. Because now when you retire, you go with at least 2 million every month, 2.5 from 4 million. And that's a good way. And that's what they are focusing on. So have they achieved the so-called, they say we will give priority to science.
To an extent.
I need that government must be interested to do such research. And after, if anything, right now, the truth of the matter is they have wasted the resources. They will have used this money and give for all. Now in schools, now the trend is learners are now saying, I also want to take sciences. Yeah. Without having the skills and the talents, they are forcing themselves to go there. At the end of it, you see, children will end up failing. And now we have science, the arts, they are very few. And now, so even they have moved to the point and say, hey, for me also I want to do science so that I get the 4 million. People are now focused on the money part. Service, no service. So
what if this was...
So the aspect of quality will not be...
What if this was a strategy by government to decongest arts so that at some point you also reach that level like sciences where you're scarce and highly valuable?
But if you belong to the right thinking society, it's not really healthy to disregard these other humanities because they are very key. There's no way you can coexist without the humanities. Practically, even the unfortunate thing, some of those who are on the forefront themselves are humanities in their profession. So I think they have not done enough research, and this is a waste of resources. To say,
as
look
we
at the
wrap up,
performance. How are they performing for this the last 3 years? Performance in sciences. Leave alone the issue of doctoring raw marks by UNEB to favor these things.
But that also lacks proof. That the marks
we also challenge them to
doctored.
we challenge them to show us the raw marks. Will they ever accept?
You apply for them, they will.
No, they will never.
Well, as we wind up this entire discussion, pity for the parent who looks at, because this time is really short. It's about 12 weeks, I think. Those are approximately 2 months and a half. And by November, all students will be, most of the children will be home. So a parent who woke up this morning with assurance that they're taking their child to school, and only to be left in space, that teachers are in industrial action. How are you going to compensate the lost time? Okay, if the government commits itself, maybe at the end of October, how are you going to compensate all this lost time by the learner who has not studied?
Yeah, that will also be dependent on the response from the government. But we encourage all parents and guardians not to send children to school, because they will not be attended to, and that will be something which may not be fair.
And
but
how will you compensate for their lost time? Because the curriculum still, the syllabus continues. So there is what they're supposed to study this term, in the first month, in the other month. So how are you going to compensate for that?
The governments will answer that question, because if they respond very fast, we will be able to do that.
Well,
so if they take long, then we see what will come out of it.
I think while you call for the industrial action, you should also have a compensation plan that when things turn out good, then this is our compensation plan. This is how our teachers will compensate the lost time.
Obviously, I'm quite sure if they will answer this in the positive, the affirmative way, teachers will be even more demotivated to work longer hours. Because the idea right now, they are very much demotivated. But the moment they hear government has agreed this, they can even have their own time, go beyond the extra, beyond the normal time. Once a teacher is happy, this will be translated in everywhere. The teacher will be doing all what is required, and this will also make the learners happy. So the only thing we need to ask the government to do is to listen to and make this a sort.
Thank you so much. Well, we also plead as parents that at least carry that parental heart in you and think twice about this industrial action, especially for the benefit of the learners. Well, we've come to the end of this conversation, and now, of course, it's a pleasure having had you with us from where we started from up to now. And thank you so much, UNATU, for standing up for the teachers. We really appreciate, and I believe the teachers appreciate, irrespective of the divisionalism. But I think those that are under your cover appreciate your services. And of course, to your viewer, thank you so much for watching us from where we started from at 6:30 up to now.
No conclusion.
Okay, give us in a minute. Give us your closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you, members, and thank you for your time. Today is the D-Day, and therefore we urge all the teachers who are not in the categories of the 300% salary increment that was made for the other group to remain home. That is the only thing we can say now. And if there's any issues related to intimidation and related to this, we have the structures. We have set everything in place. Report to the nearest UNATU offices. And this is a peaceful demonstration. Stay away from violence. And the General Secretary remains the official spokesperson. Do not make impersonal pronouncement. And therefore, industrial action may take different forms, and it will depend on the government response. And therefore, what we urge from you is to ensure that we use this opportunity to achieve our claim. We stand firm, and we must remain in solidarity. Our strength lies on the unity We shall keep on updating you on issues, and therefore please let us be aware of detractors. They are there, but we must remain focused. Remember, the industrial action, the success of this remains on our active participation, and that is the only thing we urge you to do. Let us mobilize our members to remain home until at a time when the government will say yes. Mm-hmm. Thank you for listening. Thank you for everything.
Well, I've worked with Liz, Esther, Humza, and Patience, and from the entire team, we wish you a blessed morning.
Issues at hand.